I was talking with a client today about loneliness and really all kinds of things like that, like sadness and anxiety and that frustration. And we were discussing how sometimes it feels like we haven't made any progress from years ago. Maybe even feeling like we're in the same place we were when we were in our late teens or early 20s. And we know that that isn't exactly true. Um, Life has had adventures, it's had changes to navigate, decisions to make, circumstances of all sorts to overcome, and accomplishments and milestones to celebrate that mark time and distinct moments that show our progression in mind, body, and spirit in our various kinds of relationships. We can see how we've had a lovely impact on others and how we've bloomed in so many ways. But, these disappointments that happen, these anxieties we have, these setbacks can have us feeling so disrupted that we can forget who we are emotionally and feel so low that we feel loveless and we feel really unlovable and we feel unaccomplished or forgotten. And these are real feelings. And, it's even helpful to consider how these are universal feelings that are timeless, that are, geographically timeless, right? And we need to take some time with them. Our society doesn't really talk about how to take time with these things. Rather, we're expected to just kind of get over it or stuff it down or motor on, right? But the reasons for feeling them are our own. They're our perceptions and our interactions are real and they can take time to sort out. And if we stay in this space too long, our beautiful brain will get involved, not in the way of anxiety or dreams or distraction. That's not what I'm talking about in this case. I'm talking about a different thing. I mean, in a really primitive way, the stuff of eat or be eaten. The part of our brain that is akin to fight or flight and wants to protect us, that's always paying attention on some subconscious level. It's always regulating and adjusting. It's very creative and resourceful, and it's deciding how best to protect us. One thing it can do is create tunnel vision. For example, if we decide very seriously that we would like to buy a Subaru and we start researching and looking at them, pricing them, comparing features, we all of a sudden start seeing Subarus all over the place in ads on the road and parking lots because our brains start sifting this information for us like it's very, very, very important because we focused on it so much that in its primitive space of eat or be eaten, hunter gatherer mode, we told it on some level that this is now important. And so it gets helpful and it starts filtering. And we sometimes, in our superstitious ways, may think it's a sign. But that's another compartment, maybe for another video, because these kinds of signs in a very spiritual and emotional way can also be very comforting and but that's another thing. That's not what we're talking about today. So it's a lovely thing, really, our helpful sifting brain. And we can realize now with this information that we're not at the mercy of it. We can expand to this tunnel vision and say, oh wait, lovely brain, thank you. But I also know that there are Nissans, Toyotas, Hondas, and so on. And the brain will say, oh, that's right. And it'll quickly adjust and it'll release its grip on that Subaru list because ultimately it's helpful and responsive. So let's apply this to loneliness and feelings of self yuck. If we spend enough time here, our brain will grab it like a Subaru and set about surveying ourselves for all the matching scenarios to back it up. Every lousy breakup, every mix up, every mess up to help us identify the trouble zone of being hunted and being in a dangerous situation that has us feeling like prey because it wants to live, right? That seems important. It doesn't feel like that emotionally because that's another compartment. It feels like proof. The brain is helping us not get eaten by showing us proof, but our emotions are getting reinforced at the same time, and it's a dangerous loop. And we can stop it while also giving space to feel what we are feeling, even though we haven't really been trained to do that. We can learn to do that. If we set time to feel the loneliness or the other feeling of upset, we give it some air, but we also give it a container. We allow it to be part of our whole experience. Say for 15 minutes, from 4 to 4:15, I will give space to feel into this feeling. Or I will give time with myself and this feeling on the weekends. Or 3 nights. You get the idea. And I will also expand my list to recognize my accomplishments, my joy, my love in my life, right? You're giving your brain permission to say, what else is true? This does a few things. One, it allows the wholeness of self to exist. We are capable emotionally of allowing many experiences, many emotions, many feelings to be present without one thing taking over all the others. I can be happy about completing my project and all of its components well, and sad and concerned that my dog has an infection, which he doesn't. It's just an example at the same time. Two, it acknowledges that whatever the experience is that we're having is real enough to matter, but does not need to rule over everything. That's the idea of wholeness. That three, the helpful brain can be out of eat or be eaten, hunter gatherer mode, and is shifted to support wholeness rather than prey or predator narrow vision. And it can expand to many other understandings rather than constrict into that loop. So there's a Buddhist expression that I keep really near because it's short and it's so applicable. Does my love feel like it is in a jar or a field? It's beautiful, right? So this can be applied to a love of nature, a love of all kinds of others, and in this case, a love of self. I'm just feeling it for a second. I hope you are too. That's it for today. Those are my Birdi minutes for you. And please like, subscribe, share, comment to extend the conversation. And I'll see you soon. Mwah. Bye for now.